Hello, all my YouTubers. Deer Camp Productions coming to you. This is day 52 of not eating meat for deer season. And I just want to share with you some of the encounters that I've had this year. So as I started off this video series, I explained to everyone the rules of the game and the premise for the concept. The concept is that by not eating meat, you smell like a predator and not a prey. Smell less like something that's going to eat them, you know. Um, if you think about it, it makes sense because how often do you get a coyote and a deer in a picture together on a game camera picture, or a mountain lion, or wild hogs? I mean, it does happen, but it's few and far between. It's not, it's not the norm. So that's the logic behind not eating meat for deer season. It's something I do every year, as I've explained from the get-go with this whole docu-series that I'm creating. And so far so good. This is day 52. I am battling hogs. I have already bagged out on these bucks. The first one, this is before, this is him after I got him 30 minutes into opening morning and scored him out. He turned out to score the best buck of my life. And I've got a lot of good bucks, but he scored one of the best. That was on the 26th, I believe, of September. Then a couple days later, on a different part of what I hunt altogether, this deer showed up, and where he came from, the neighboring land, guys were in there bush hogging on opening day, and then on the next day, which would have been the 27th, there was a helicopter spraying this cutover. I believe one of those two pushed this deer out because where he showed up, I had had a camera out for 2 months and never had a picture of him. And suddenly he just showed up. And when he showed up from my camera, he showed up from my corn pile. It was a very low pressured area. I mean, I tiptoe in, I tiptoe out. That's my method for checking all my cameras, because you never know when one's going to show up that you want. And when he showed up, I wanted him. And he was 5.5 and 5-inch bases. I mean, very, very heavy. And he was 20 and a quarter inside. So while he didn't score as well as this 12 point, which is very hard for an 8 point to do. I mean, 8 point has got 8 points, 12 points got 12 points, lot, and the 12 point was taller. He had a lot more tine length, even though he wasn't as wide as the 8 point. The 8 point was a bigger frame deer. He wasn't as tall, but he was bigger frame, wider, and a little bit heavier. He didn't score nearly as well as the 12 point. So, anywho, got both those deer completely buck tagged out within 2 weeks of deer season opening with archery. My boys, Samuel, he got a 7 point second afternoon of season, and James got a stud 9 point the third afternoon of season. I have 5 kids. I have to break them up. I take, one time, one the next, one the next, one the next, one the next. Yeah, 5 kids. It takes a while to get them all through, all 5, to be able to take them deer hunting. Training them, with kids, you never stop training kids, and they're all going through their hunter's education every night. With this year's 2020 and COVID has struck in everything, so they're actually offering courses online for hunter's education, which is a great thing. That's absolutely great because I can sit and go through the coursework with my kids and explain some aspects of what they, when the coursework is talking about loading a muzzleloader, for example. If they have a question, I can, hey, stop the video. I can go get my muzzleloader and say, this is where you pour the powder in. This is what that video is talking about. So I can kind of give some real, personal experience, knowledge that they can relate to and understand it a little bit better. So I've enjoyed going through with them. You're never too old, and I've completed hunter's education like, I don't know, several times, especially whenever I was a young kid. In fact, I took it in college as an yeah, pretty much as a filler, as an extracurricular. So, anyways, I wanted to talk about some of my results. Now, I did say early on that I was going to be picky about what I did share because some of it will not be believable. And so my goal is to video myself pulling. Well, it's not my goal, but it would be awesome if I could get it on video. I'd like to video myself pulling the hair from a live deer. I know it sounds crazy, right? It does. Unbelievable. That's the reason I won't say I've done it unless I can show you the proof of it. But not eating meat, that it gives me a great edge. It gives a great edge. Okay. Um, Now I am from the get-go. I've told you on this video series that I am videoing everything with just my Android phone. I have better camera equipment. I'm not lugging it around. I have done that in the past. I videoed a lot of my personal kills, and I had a lot of enjoyment about that. But to what end, really? I can relive the moments as I'm an old man, I know, but it's a lot of effort to get there, to do that. So I am just videoing on the go with my Android phone, and it takes really good video. So I've got no complaints on the quality, but I don't have a guy running around behind me shooting video all the time. It's just me, okay? And yeah, so I'm gonna be very picky about what I do actually tell the audience, yourself. Just like a couple years ago, I actually snuck up on a sleeping coyote. I videoed with my phone as I'm walking up, as I snuck up on him. It's on my YouTube channel. Go check it out. Man sneaks up on sleeping coyote. I get up and I should have, but I was, within arm's reach of him. I should have reached and pulled the hair out of his tail. I didn't want to get bit. Now looking back, I wish I'd have done that. Anyway, I, I I snuck up on him and I could have, but whenever I got right there on him, I ruffled my foot so that he'd wake up, and he did. And he jumped up and run off because I didn't want people to think, oh, that's a dead coyote. That coyote ain't sleeping. No, he's asleep. And I videoed it so I can talk about it and say, hey, proof is in the pudding, son. I did this, and that's what happened. So, with that being said, I'm going to be very picky about what I do talk about on here because I don't want people to think I'm a liar. That's the worst reputation you can have in life. A lie. Being a liar. Being a braggart. I prefer to video things and prove that way. So, but with what I'm fixing to tell you, I don't have video proof of. There's no way to get video proof of what I'm about to tell you. So 2 nights ago, a white-banded boar hog come out that has been plaguing me for 2 months. I pulled off the broadhead that I shoot deer with, and I put on one of my practice tips, which is just a blunt point. Um, and I shot the hog. I shot him far back in the flank so that he would run off away from where I'm sitting hunting, and he would die. However, he's a dead hog, but he wasn't going to die right there. And for one thing, broadheads are expensive. But the main reason is that I didn't want a razor to gash him open and for him to just pour blood out, right, and skunk up the whole area because I'm really trying to be scent free. And people might think that's a waste just to shoot a boar hog. No, 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 no. For him, yeah, that's a waste. Okay, boar hogs are such a diseasing, plaguing factor we have to deal with. They are detrimental to our native wildlife. By killing this hog, there's no telling how many deer, turkeys, rabbits, any kind of native wildlife. There's no telling how much of that I saved by eliminating this one. So while, yeah, he may have went and died, hey, coyotes ate him, foxes ate him, He didn't just go to waste because I didn't eat him. Something ate him. In fact, another hog probably ate him because hogs are, they're cannibals. They'll eat each other. They'll eat anything. They are the trash keepers of the wild. They'll eat anything and everything, including themselves. However, so I shot him purposely far back. That was at 6:05, and 45 minutes later, right before dark, a nice buck walked up, come out right beside me, walked up to the corn pile, and he's 35 yards. I'm buck tagged out. I was looking for a doe, looking for a really fat doe without babies. So watched him for another 10 minutes around 7:05. In this area, it's really too dark to see very much, to make a safe, effective shot if a doe would have walked up. And plus, it's getting late enough so that if a doe walks up, it's hard to tell if it's really a doe or if it's a little buttonhead, little young buck. I don't want to shoot a little young buck. I want a fat doe. So anyway, so I watched him for 15 minutes or so, and then it's time to go. I got out of my blind, and at 35 yards, he sees me, and deer are going to smell me. Even though I'm not eating meat, they're still going to smell me. However, they're not going to be threatened by my smell. I smell differently than I would if I was eating still eating meat, still consuming meat. The premise is that they're not as terrified of you. Okay, so I get out of the blind, 35 yards. I have to walk where he's at. I had to walk within around 25 yards from him. That was my path out. I walk the 25 yard. I walked past where he's at, and the closest I was at was 25 yards from him. And yeah, he stood there. He watched me, and I literally could still hear him smacking. He was eating that corn. At the 25-yard spot, while watching me, he lowers his head, gets another bite, and continues to watch me as I walk away. And I couldn't video it if I had the greatest video camera because it was dark. There was no way to get that video. But what I'm saying is the deer never ran. He never blew. He never got alerted. He never got scared. He saw me. He watched me. And he continued to eat. Pretty cool, right? Usually a deer sees you, they tuck tail, run, blow, and alert everything in the woods. This is going to happen a lot, and I will get this on video before the season's over with. It'll be another deer. I will be crazy close to them, and I will demonstrate exactly what I'm talking about. They'll watch me, and if I start in their direction straight towards them, yeah, they're going to back up, they'll run away, but not to the point like typically they would. Typically, and they're gone, and they're telling a tale, but no, like I said, the closest time I was 25 yards from him. I never stopped. If I'd have stopped, that would have alerted him. But he was a nice buck too. No monster, but he was a nice one. I would let my kids shoot him if any of them would have been with me. So anyway, what I'm saying is that even though I know the deer saw me and I know he smelled me because he was downwind of me, he wasn't threatened by my smell. Okay, so keep that in consideration, that it doesn't matter how scent free you are, no matter what products you use, how straight out of bath you are. If you go roll in a mud puddle, cover yourself with ashes, and then go deer hunting, that's probably the way you're going to have the least scent, but a deer's still going to smell you because they have very, very great sense of smell. They can smell you. No matter what you do, they can still smell you. The greatest deer hunter in the world will tell you that they get busted from time to time. You can do everything you can to try to prevent them from smelling you. They're still going to smell you. What I'm doing is trying to keep them from being scared of me when they smell me. I'm not eating meat. Obviously, this deer was not scared of me. He watched me walk off. He never stopped eating. I checked the camera the next day. In fact, 15 minutes after I walked by, another buck come up. and they ate together. So I know it. That's one of the things that I'm telling you without actually having the video. But this is 3 weeks into the season. It's well, maybe 4 weeks. October 15th. No, it's less than 3 weeks into the season. I've still got a couple months to hunt. So I should be able to get some video for you. I'm gonna keep not eating meat until Thanksgiving, and then I will eat me a big old greasy burger. And my wife cooked bacon this morning. Woke up with that smell, and oh, I really wanted it. I did go to the doctor yesterday with my back, dragging deer out, the 4 we've killed, sitting for long hours in uncomfortable deer stands. It takes a toll on my back every year. This is something that happens every year to me. And so I got patched up. I'm going to live. I did have to get a tetanus shot from, I was bush hogging about a month ago, a little over a month ago, September 4th, and I hit a fence post board, something that I didn't realize was there, but it had some barbed wire in it. And a piece of that barbed wire shot up and stuck into the calf of my leg here. And it's been over a month, and it hadn't completely healed up. So while I was there getting my back checked, I asked the doctor about that. He's like, "Tom, what?" He kind of got on to me because I didn't come see him and get another tetanus shot. But I had a tetanus shot. I figured out it was 8 years ago. I was cutting up, I was processing deer meat, and I knife slipped, and I cut myself right there, and it was a pretty deep gash. But I was cutting up deer meat, so it didn't hit a tendon. I sewed it up myself. So I sewed up that, and then the next day I was at work, and my company nurses are like, "Why didn't you go to the emergency room?" Well, I took care of it myself, and so they ordered me a tetanus shot. So it should have been good for 10 years. That was 8 years ago, and then like a couple years later, I was bush hogging, and I got a pretty good cut right across my cheek. Again, sewed it up myself. And I went and got my company nurses checked because I really hate to go to the doctor. I mean, I don't want to be a big baby. I hate to take time out of my busy schedule. I've got things I want to get done. I don't want to have to stop and go. I don't want to have to spend $1,200 on a getting stitched up. I mean, I know what it costs to get stitched up. I mean, um, I've had more stitches and ER visits than I think most people. This scar right through here. A lot of people are cutting that in their eyebrow because it's really cool and hip right now. That's a real ordeal right there. I got popped in the head with a chain, and that was 5 stitches and like $1,000 with insurance. $1,000. So I sewed myself up a couple times, but anyway, so yesterday the doctor's visit, I got another tetanus shot, so should be good for another 10 years, I guess. And anyway, I just wanted this video's done got kind of long. I wanted to share the experience about what happened to me walking out with the deer right there. I thought it was pretty cool. I will do my best to get video of that. Check out the video on Deer Camp Productions YouTube of me sneaking up on a sleeping coyote. I feel like that will help vindicate and put some proof behind my word. Anywho, in fact, the whole reason I ever started videoing before I even started Deer Camp Productions was because one year I killed a really good buck, and someone at work questioned whether I really killed it or not. Oh man, for that to have happened, I was so pissed because you spend all the time and effort and work and involved in hunting a deer and to study a deer, and then doing all the homework to get the intel on this deer, and then to actually hunt him forever, it seems sometimes, and to kill the deer, and then take the horns and pictures to work, and somebody said, did he really kill that deer? Because he killed a good one last year. Nobody can kill that many. He's always killing good deer. Did he spotlight this deer? Well, I mean, I've never spotlighted deer. Anyways, I'm getting off track. So the next year, I invested in a video camera and rigged it up so that I was actually videoing. I mounted a little CCI bullet camera on the side of my gun, with wire down to another video camera. I might have to show that one because it was kind of pretty cool to set up. Technology's changed a lot since then, though. There's a lot of different action cams out there that are a lot nicer than what I had. But anyway, so the next year I killed another good buck, and it was a big 11 point. I took the horns in, I took pictures. The same guy, he come up, and I was like, "Hey, man." He's like, "Oh, that's a great deer." So here's the pictures. "Oh man, that's." I said, "Oh yeah, check this out." Press play. He got to watch me shoot that deer and kill it. And then that was in '07. 2008, the same ordeal, but it was a 13 point, and so he got to watch me kill that deer too. And that was, yeah, I fed it to him with a spoon. I mean, it pissed me off so bad. Somebody questioned, you know, what I was trying so hard to do. Anywho, so that's why I started videoing, and I do like to video and show proof of what I'm saying, because I hear a lot of people talk a lot of crap about a lot of things that, you know, seems like everybody in the hunting world has killed a 600-pound boar hog. It can happen, but get some scales. You know, most wild boars, you know, 200, 250 is going to top. I mean, that's a big wild boar. If you get one 600 pounds, ooh, you've really done something, or you didn't weigh him. I'm just going to say that. And I will say that since most people that don't hunt talk about going to kill a hog, and all of them use that 600 pound. I don't know why that's like the go-to number. I killed a 600-pound hog. I killed a 600-pound hog. So and so killed a 600-pound hog. And then most of them tell you it's charging them. It can happen. Anything can happen, and it probably did happen to some people, but not every one of them, you know. Anywho, I'll get some video proof of what I'm talking about, and then I'll share that as well. So stay cool. Deer Camp Productions. Peace out. October 19th, day 56 of not eating meat for deer hunting. Climbing in the stand with Anna Girl, and a wasp stung me on the neck. Moments later, for extra fun, one flew in and stung me right on the tit. And she ain't done nothing but laugh about it. She gets tickled every time she thinks about that wasp stinging me. My back hurts, my rib is broke, and now I've been stung by 2 wasps. The joys of hunting. Alright, Anna Girl just smoked her a doe. 3 big does come out. No babies. Fat. Yeah. And none of them are married, right? I don't know if you can see it, but her white belly is out there. Probably not. It's right before dark. Happy girl. Very proud of you, baby. Thank you. Alrighty. Stay tuned. Wow. Anna, that is a big doe. That's a big doe, Anna. Are you happy? Oh, definitely. You drilled her. She dropped in her tracks. That's a lot of meat for our family, isn't it? I hope so. All right, baby girl. I love you. You too. All right, let's get out of here. We'll go get the side by side.